Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So more additional information to give you an update on is about Ligt. Also going to give you the latest news about Bruno Fernandes, and also lots of other things to talk about. So we will start with Ligt. Obviously, as I've been giving you an update about him on a regular basis, because obviously we do know he's been widely spoken about throughout the course of this window. He has been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation, but it is looking very imminent that he is going to be leaving Ajax. Obviously, a number of clubs have attracted their interest in his services, but I think now it's looking very imminent that he could be on his way to Old Trafford, because I do believe at least in the last 2 or 3 days that we have been emerged as the front runners, to currently get the player's signature. After initially it said Barcelona adopted him out of the race, because it said that Barcelona are not willing to meet what the Ligt's demanding, what his agent Raiola is demanding. So Barcelona obviously couldn't come to an agreement on the terms. So now I believe that they have currently opted out of the race. We do know Barcelona have obviously been the favourites in the last couple of months. Of course, obviously it came out from Sky Sports the other week saying that he's set to join Barcelona, because obviously Barcelona have already got a deal over the line for his current teammate Frankie de Jong, and I think Barcelona paid around £65 million for his services. And I think it came out the other week saying as well that Ligt made an admission saying that he's destined to make the move to Barcelona. But obviously since then there has been a change of scenery, because we are willing to offer him a contract worth up to £350,000 a week. Obviously this equates to almost £17 million a year, and if this was to actually process, this would make him the highest paid teenager in world football, and also make him one of the highest paid players at the club. So it initially said that talks between Ligt and Barcelona have currently stalled. So I do believe now that Manchester United are in the ascendancy of getting a deal over the line for him. But it did come out yesterday saying that Ligt is set to notify Manchester United his decision over the transfer in the next coming days, of course. So I think he's set to make a decision on his future in the next day or two. Is Ligt. He did admit that he has several offers on the table, of course, because I think Ligt is aware of the speculation, because obviously a lot of teams have been in there for him. Obviously Manchester City have expressed their interest because they're looking for a replacement for Vincent Kompany. Also Liverpool have obviously expressed their interest. PSG have been in for him, that Bayern Munich have been in for him. So many teams have attracted their interest in the young Dutch centre half. But yeah, I do believe he would be the right addition for Manchester United. With Ligt without a shadow of a doubt, because obviously that central defensive area is one of the priority areas where we do currently need to strengthen up. But obviously you can see the deficiencies in the squad. But I think we need two central defenders, and I think in terms of the transfer fees, Ligt is going to cost you from between 65 or 70 million pounds, because that's what he's initially rated at. But obviously we've got the financial power of course to meet that valuation. But Ligt, I think, told his representatives that he's willing to accept Manchester United's contract offer, because maybe from his perspective he thinks it's a contract that is obviously not too good to turn down. But it did come out in the media a couple of days ago saying that Ligt had come out with two transfer demands, decided on his next club. And obviously Obviously, these are two demands that definitely, Manchester United can meet. Obviously, we're craving more money, and I want, obviously, first team football guaranteed. And definitely, if he came to Manchester United, we'd be able to guarantee him first team football. Of course, as well, we're willing to, meet what he's currently demanding, and his agent Raiola is demanding. And first team football, would be much easier for Ligt if he came to Manchester United than it would be at Barcelona. Because if he went to Barcelona, he wouldn't be guaranteed first team football, because obviously Barcelona have got the likes of Clement Lenglet, they've got likes of Samuel City in their back line. They've got Gerard Piqué as their first team starter. So they wouldn't be able to guarantee him first team football with Barcelona. The only thing we couldn't offer Ligt is Champions League football for next season, of course. But I don't think that'd be a stumbling block in it, because I think he's willing to accept Manchester United's contract offer. I think from his own perspective he's considering making a move to Manchester United, and I think it will help us with our own rebuilding project. If Ligt was to come in, but I think it'd be fantastic. And if he came to the Premier League, he'd exceed expectation levels, he'd succeed, and he would take his footballing career to the next level. Because obviously at some point in his career anyway, Ligt will want to take his career to the next level. So you do know Ligt so far has spent the entirety of his career with Ajax. Obviously grown, risen up the ranks and that and all that, and flourished fantastically well with Ajax. I think he made his senior debut at just the age of 16 or 17, of course, and he has gone on to make 117 appearances for Ajax. So he has been in their senior squad 3 years, I think he also won the Golden Boy Award last year. But I think, Matty Ligt became more of a first team starter, when Davinson Sanchez, of course, departed for Tottenham back in 2017. So, like I said, he's made 117 appearances, but Ajax have had a really, really good season, winning the domestic double for the first time in 17 years. Obviously, winning the Eredivisie title for the first time in 5 years, and of course, progressing to the Champions League semi-finals. So yeah, I do believe he'd be a fantastic sign for Manchester United. He obviously fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy, because obviously he did say he's had quite a few meetings, discussing about our recruitment, and he's obviously, worked out our transfer strategy, and he wants to buy young players. And of course, Matty is still he's only 19 years of age, also tall as well, which is very, very beneficial. I do believe he'd, blend in alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line fantastically well, because, Lindelof really, really improved last season, and we're really, really consistent. He was showing that ability that he can play out from the back. His distribution looked really, really good. His passing looked really, really good. Lindelof struggled in his first season because he didn't really settle in his first season at Manchester United. But there was a vast improvement last season in his current performances. So I think Matty Ligt and Lindelof, would be a fantastic partnership indeed. So that's the latest news about Matty Ligt. So it's looking like at the moment Manchester United are going to get a deal over the line, but his future is obviously not being fully clarified as yet. So more things will update. So we'll keep you up to date about Matty Ligt. Bruno Fernandes. Now, there's good news that's coming out about Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon now. As he updated you yesterday, Manchester United want to finalise the deal for Bruno Fernandes before the end of next week. So according to Ebola, the Portuguese press, they are now saying we are emerging as the front runners to currently get a deal over the line for the player. It came out, was it last week, if I'm right, or early on this week, saying that Manchester City are emerging as the front runners, to currently get the player's signature. I think it's already said that City have submitted a bid of around 40 million pounds, because City want to get him in a deal worth around 40 million pounds, and it did say City were willing to offer a couple of their players as part of the deal. But now reportedly we are emerging as the front runners. We want to get a quick deal over the line for Bruno Fernandes. I think we are willing to. I think it's a deal worth around 70 million pounds. I think we are willing to submit a bid of around 70 million pounds, to get Bruno Fernandes on the board. His initial release clause is around 85 million pounds, but obviously us at Manchester City have blatantly made it clear we are not willing to meet his current release clause. So I think Man United want to get him in a deal worth around 70 million pounds. Only 24 years of age, still got a hell of a lot of development in him, and definitely Bruno Fernandes would he's got all the abilities and the attributes to currently succeed in the Premier League, and I think he'd definitely exceed expectation levels in the Premier League. He is primarily an attacking midfielder. He has been subjected to quite a lot of transfer speculation, because Bruno Fernandes has been on Manchester United's agenda over quite some time now. Obviously he's been on Manchester City's agenda over quite some time, and obviously a player of Bruno Fernandes' calibre, obviously looking at it, the more attractive option for him would be Manchester City, of course, because obviously Manchester City are winning trophies, and that obviously the dominant force in English football at this moment in time, and they are a competitive elite level football club, and obviously City can offer him Champions League football. Obviously Manchester United can't offer Bruno Fernandes Champions League football, but we are willing to offer him around 70 million pounds according to the media. So Bruno Fernandes, like I said, is 24 years of age. He's under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. Obviously had a lot of experience playing in Italy when he was younger, obviously with the likes of San Pandora and underneath, so he has grown and developed fantastically well. And like I did say, if Paul Pogba is set to leave Manchester United, I think Bruno Fernandes would be the adequate replacement, but there is a possibility now anywhere that Paul Pogba and Lukaku will be remaining at the football club, based on the huge transfer fees that we have currently put on them. So there has been good news coming out about Bruno Fernandes and Matty Ligt. But I said, like I said, that midfield area is one of the priority areas where we do need to strengthen up. Like I said, I think we need, if Pogba leaves, I think we need 3 new additions in that midfield. Obviously, we're going to need also a replacement for Ander Herrera, and I also think we need a centre defensive midfielder, because like I said, the Nemanja Matic isn't good enough. He's too inconsistent, he's aging up, he's too slow, and he's too ineffective in that midfield. But Tommy Way, he demonstrated towards the back end of the season, that he can play well, and he can play between the lines and that, but he's too inexperienced at the moment, like I said. And obviously, Fellaini left the club back in January, so I do believe we need a holding midfielder. And but like I said, I think Bruno Fernandes, would be fantastic for Manchester United. So reportedly now, we are emerging as front runners, currently get a deal over the line for the player. But Bruno Fernandes, did give us an update about his future, and he did basically say he's unsure about his future. He did say he's had 2 intense years with Sporting Lisbon. He doesn't know if he's going to be having a 3rd year. So basically, he doesn't know if he's going to be leaving Sporting Lisbon. He did deny that he's had any negotiation with Manchester United over the potential move to Old Trafford and that. So he's basically denied any clubs having any negotiation negotiations about, this and all that. But yeah, I think he's refused to rule out a move to the Premier League next season. So he could be applying his trade in the Premier League next season there, could Bruno Fernandes. But he's really, really good. His footballing ability, the goals he scores, the assists he also gets. He'd fit the Manchester United agenda, perfectly well. And like I said, we've got to get the right players that have got the ability, to elevate Manchester United at least in the next 2 to 3 years. Solskjaer still believes we can attract players to the elite level, even though we're not in a Champions League football for next season. But yeah, we've got to get the right players that have got the ability to elevate Manchester United at least in the next 2 to 3 years. And I think Bruno Fernandes would be the right solution. I also think, Matthias de Ligt would be the right solution. And like I said, we're getting a spending spree of £250 million. That should be enough for us to get at least 5 players on the board. But if we were to cash in for Lukaku, Pogba and De Gea, that would take it to a lot more than £250 million. I said it'll help us with our rebuilding process. And of course, it will help us with our transition. But like I said, it's possible now that Paul Pogba and Romelu Lukaku, will be remaining with the football club. But obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is working on, bringing the right players to Manchester United who he thinks are good enough to represent the club. He's also trying to keep his imperative players at the club. And obviously, another problem with Manchester United, we have far too many players' contracts run down. So obviously, that's been another issue. But like I said, Rashford's in the final year of his deal. Mata looking imminent, he's going to be leaving because the club have failed to, agree a contract extension for him. Obviously, as well, De Gea's in the final year of his deal. With Ander Herrera go on a free transfer. So we have far too many players' contracts run down. But like I said, Solskjaer wants to bring at least 5 new players to the club. I expect probably around 3 or 4 players to leave Manchester United this summer. Obviously, all the players that we do want to leave, obviously we're not going to be able to, address that problem in one window. It's going to take a couple of windows to currently address that problem. So yeah, very, very good news coming out about Matthias de Ligt and Bruno Fernandes. Now, obviously, we do know Daniel James is going to be the club's for signing. I think it is actually set to be announced sometime this week. Well, it did, unless you say that. Obviously, the initial fee has already been agreed for Daniel James. Obviously, we've agreed a £15 million fee with add-ons included, so it initially rises to around £20 million, and that is a reasonable figure. And Daniel James is taking a huge step, in his career, coming from the Championship, to the Premier League, and I hope he can succeed in the Premier League and he can meet expectation levels in the Premier League. Daniel James, only 21 years of age, of course, but yeah, obviously Manchester United have agreed a deal for him. Obviously, it hasn't been fully finalised as yet because it hasn't been announced of what I've currently seen of it. Obviously, the move had been delayed a little bit, based on Daniel James' father currently passing away. So obviously, the other week he had to withdraw from the Wales camp, did Daniel James. But Daniel James is primarily a winger. He's supposed to be more effective from that left-hand side, but he can cut in the flank really, really well. He is really, really fast on the ball. He can score goals, as he has proven throughout the course of the season, with Swansea. But I think actually, Brighton came in right at the final hurdle, for Daniel James. I think, Leeds were on the brink of getting him in January. Obviously, Everton inquired about his services, but I think his preferred destination is Manchester United. Of course, he's only obviously got a year left on his deal with Swansea. Only got a year left on his deal with Swansea. And yeah, so let's be honest, he is a low expectation. He is a cheap acquisition. But like I said, it's not always about, spending big on players. It's not always about getting them Glasgow players, because it doesn't always guarantee success. And of course, it doesn't always get you in that commanding position, of course, because we've got a history of spending big on players, especially in recent years. Lukaku, 75 million, Paul Pogba, 89 million pounds. But yeah, it's been agreed. He's agreed the personal terms, and that the initial fee has been agreed. We're just waiting for it to be fully finalised. Well, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was actually asked towards the back end of the season, about the speculation, linking Daniel James with a move to Manchester United, and he refused to comment on it because I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is aware that there's so many individuals linked with the football club. He also was saying towards the back end of the season that he had been contacted by a number of agents, saying that their players do want to come to Manchester United. So, like I said, we've got to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer time to currently spend this summer, and then see what happens going on into next season. So we've got to be we've got to get the right recruitment, because analysing our recruitment policy is very, very poor. Obviously, we didn't get anyone in January. We didn't get as number one targets last summer. But yeah, I think £250 million should be enough, to currently get the players. Should be enough, to currently get us around 5 players. Are we going to get as number one priority targets? I'm not very sure. But obviously, we're not in Champions League football. That's going to be extremely difficult. But yeah, like I said, Daniel James is obviously going to be our first signing. Obviously, we're probably going to play him on that left-hand side. You can rotate him to the right. I think you can also play him as attacking midfielder. You know, some people are obviously, you know, going to say, you know, where's Martial going to go? Obviously, we'll probably rotate Martial into like more of a central position, because we know mainly Martial plays on the left, but we'll probably put Martial in more of a central position, obviously, when Daniel James does come in. And as I've been giving you an update about Nicolas Pepe from Lille now, you know, he's been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. We heard good news about Nicolas Pepe a week or two ago. Obviously, the Lille chairman had confirmed that Nicolas Pepe is going to be leaving Lille this summer, you know, which is very, very good news. But it still remains uncertain where he will be applying his trade next season, because a lot of teams have inquired about his services. But recent reports do say that Manchester United and Liverpool are interested in you know, Nicolas Pepe, and it does say both teams have opened up negotiations to sign, you know, Nicolas Pepe. And this is actually not stemming from Duncan Castles, you know, the journalist. He's saying, you know, Man United and Liverpool have been in talks, you know, to currently sign Nicolas Pepe. Now, I really, really like this player. He's the obvious candidate for the right win for Manchester United, because obviously he's primarily a winner, is Nicolas Pepe. You know, and I think, you know, if he came to the Premier League, it would take his career to the next level. It would be the next step for him, and he'd definitely exceed expectation levels in the Premier League. So I think initially Nicolas Pepe is rated at around £70 million, and this is a quoted fee that Lille would want if they were willing to currently sell the player. It came out a few weeks ago saying that Manchester United were eyeing around a £45 million move for him, but I don't think this figure, you know, would be enough to convince, you know, Lille to let him go, because I think they're wanting the excess of around £69 or £70 million. He's only 24 years of age, Nicolas Pepe. He has actually, you know, just turned 24. Nicolas Pepe. He had a great season, you know, with Lille, you know, scoring 22 goals and providing 11 assists. He's got goals in him, he's got assists in him, you know, he has got immense talent, and I'd love him, you know, to come to the Premier League, because I think he'd definitely, you know, succeed with Nicolas Pepe. I think also Arsenal have inquired about his services in the last couple of months. I think Real Madrid have been in there for him, Bayern Munich, PSG, so many teams have attracted their interest in the player. Obviously, he has spent the entirety of his career in France so far. Obviously, I think he's been at Lille a couple of seasons. I think Lille got him from Angus back in 2017, and I think he's under contract with Lille until 2022. But yeah, he's definitely leaving. Obviously, he's not going to intend on, you know, spending the rest of his career in France, of course, because obviously a player of his calibre, you know, will want to take his career to the next level. You know, have we got a chance of getting Nicolas Pepe on the board? Obviously, maybe a player of his calibre, you know, wants to be in Champions League football, and obviously, you know, Liverpool can offer him this, you know, Manchester United can't. Obviously, at the moment, Liverpool are at least a couple of years ahead of us, but like I said, he's going to cost you around £70 million. But yeah, there has been a lot of talks about him going on, and this obviously, you know, came from Duncan Castles. You know, he's saying Man United and Liverpool are strongly interested in the player. But like I said, it'd be the obvious candidate for the win. And as I've been giving you an update on a regular basis, well, at least in the last couple of days, about Adrien Rabiot from PSG. Now, it has come out about him, you know, saying that, you know, I think this came out from Mundo Deportivo, a Spanish outlet. It's come out from quite a few Spanish outlets saying that Manchester United now, we are emerged as the front runners, you know, to get a deal over the line for Adrien Rabiot. Now, it does say Real Betis have inquired about his services. Obviously, you know, Real Betis, you know, would see him as a replacement for Giovanni Lo Celso, because he's linked to a £53 million move to Tottenham. And yeah, so I think he's set to turn down Real Betis and make the move to Manchester United. It also said that Arsenal have inquired about Adrien Rabiot's services. Maybe obviously Umar is keen on reuniting with the player, because obviously, you know, I think Adrien Rabiot flourished under Umar guidance, you know, when Umar, you know, was PSG manager. So Arsenal have expressed their interest. I think Arsenal are going to find it difficult themselves to get their number one targets this summer, because obviously, you know, they can't offer, you know, Champions League football for next season. But I think Arsenal have inquired about, you know, Adrien Rabiot, you know, quite a few times. Of course, I think it report earlier on this month, or was it last month, you know, that Solskjaer was weighing up a move for Adrien Rabiot. But now reportedly we have emerged as the front runners currently get the player's signature. So it did say in the media that we've reportedly offered him a lucrative contract. This contract could be worth in the region of up to £170,000 a week. I think there's also a signing-on fee included of around £10 million. But reportedly Manchester United are willing to meet his salary demands. We're also willing to meet that signing-on fee. But this could be, you know, very, very beneficial indeed. Obviously, we would see Adrien Rabiot as a replacement for Ander Herrera. But obviously, you know, looking at it, we wouldn't have to pay any transfer fee for Adrien Rabiot. We don't have to pay any transfer fee for him because obviously, you know, he's coming to an end of his contract, so obviously he's available on the free. Adrien Rabiot hasn't played for PSG since December of last year because obviously, you know, he had been withdrawn from the squad, you know, based on his refusal to sign a new contract with PSG. So Adrien Rabiot is 24 years of age, so he's very, very young, so he's got a lot of development in him. You know, he's a central midfielder. He has spent the majority of his career with PSG. I think he's been at PSG about 8 years now, so he has been a long-serving player for them. He has won about 18 major honours, if I'm right, including 5 League One titles, of course. And yeah, I think he also had a spell with Manchester City, you know, when he was younger, so he has played in Manchester before as Adrien Rabiot. So I think now we are in the ascendancy of getting a deal over the line for him, but we wouldn't have to pay any transfer fee for Adrien Rabiot. So obviously, I think Ander Herrera, you know, he's going out to PSG. So obviously, you know, PSG, you know, would see, you know, Ander Herrera as the replacement for Adrien Rabiot. So could it be on his way to Manchester United? I need to know a bit more about him because I don't really know much about Adrien Rabiot, you know, to be quite honest, because I don't really watch, you know, the Liga 1, to be quite honest with you. But it just says Manchester United are the favourites, and this is coming out from Mundo Deportivo. This is what they're basically saying, and it's also saying we've offered him a lucrative contract, and it could be within the region of up to £170,000 a week. I think at one point Barcelona, you know, I think at one point he was looking very imminent. He was going to be going to Barcelona at the end of the season, as he did say earlier on last season. He said he was set to go to Barcelona, but I think obviously, you know, Barcelona turned their intentions more on Frankie de Jong from Ajax and all that. And yeah, so obviously he's not going to be going to Barcelona. So yeah, there has been a lot of talks about Adrien Rabiot. Give you an update about Toby Alderweireld from Tottenham now. It did come out yesterday saying that we are willing to make a decision on the transfer of Toby Alderweireld next week, reportedly. Like I said, I don't think he's in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has blatantly made it clear he's not willing to bring any short-term players to the club, and obviously, you know, Toby Alderweireld is aging up. He's 30 years of age now, Toby Alderweireld. Probably you'd still get quite a few years out of him, but he's of course aging up. But I still believe that Toby Alderweireld, you know, would be a great upgrade in our defence. Obviously, you know, he knows about the Premier League as well, Premier League proven. He has been at Tottenham 4 years. I think it is 4 years that Toby Alderweireld has served at Tottenham. But looking at it from a financial point of view, you know, he's a much cheaper alternative. And obviously, you know, he's going to substantially cost you a lot less than the likes of Napoli's Koulibaly, you know, Leicester's Harry Maguire, you know, Matty Flick from Ajax and all that. So looking at it from a financial point of view, he is a much cheaper alternative, is Toby Alderweireld. So I think we are set to make a decision next week. His release clause is around £25 million, of course, because obviously Tottenham activated a 12-month extension back in January, of course, and included this 25 million release clause. So it's looking imminent that he's going to be leaving Tottenham, but I don't think he's in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans. We was actually, you know, linked with Toby Alderweireld last summer, but I think last summer Tottenham were demanding that they wanted around £68 million for him. But obviously last summer, you know, we didn't get as number one targets because the board weren't back in the signs that Jose Mourinho wanted to recommend to come in, and our priority was to get a centre back in last summer. But yeah, Toby Alderweireld has been linked with Manchester United, I'd say, since last summer. So obviously, you know, the rumours have continued to persist since then. But yeah, he's not a bad player, but I've got reservations about him now. You know, he has lost that yard of pace and all that. So we are set to make a decision about that next week. Like I did basically say about Harry Maguire from Leicester, we do know we've been linked with him since last summer. Obviously, you know, I think Manchester City have identified him as their number one target to currently replace Vincent Kompany. Now, Harry Maguire, I think he did recently say that Leicester were demanding that they wanted around £19 million. And I think this is a figure that, you know, Manchester United and Manchester City, you know, would be reluctant to pay, even though we have got the financial power and that, you know, to meet that valuation. But in my opinion, I don't think he's worth £90 million, Harry Maguire, because he's not a Van Dijk, he's not a Koulibaly, he's not a Koulibaly, he's not a Diego Godin, you know, he's not that, he's a Harry Maguire. Don't get me wrong, he's still a very, very good central defender, and he does hold his line really, really well. But I don't think he's worth £90 million. But initially, Leicester rated him at around 75 or 80 million pounds. I think this is what they wanted for him last summer. But I think now it'd take a bit, at least in the excess of around 75 million pounds, you know, to convince Leicester to do any business with the player. He is well Premier League proven. He has been at Leicester a couple of seasons. I think Leicester got him from Hull City for around 17 million pounds. I think he has made over 100 odd appearances in the Premier League. He signed a new long-term contract with Leicester last summer, so he's under contract with them until 2023. You know, still 26 years of age. he has still got a number of years ahead of him as Harry Maguire, but I don't think he's worth £90 million. But I'd still take him at Manchester United because I think he's a really, really good central defender. Maybe he wants to take his career to the next level, does Harry Maguire. Maybe wants to go to a competitive elite level football club, go to a club that can win trophies and all that, and offer him, Champions League football. And obviously, looking at that, Manchester City, would be the right solution for Harry Maguire. But like I said, he won't want to intend on spending the rest of his playing career with Leicester. I think at one point he will want to move on. Whether he leaves this summer, I don't know. But yeah, Leicester reportedly want around £90 million last time I heard. So basically, Leicester don't want to lose him because they know how much of an essential player he is. But basically, Leicester have priced him out the transfer market. So yeah, there has been a lot of talks about him, going on. Like I said, I do believe we need a right back. We need a replacement for Antonio Valencia. Valencia is leaving the club, obviously, after serving 10 years at Manchester United, but I think it remains uncertain where his next destination is going to be. Is he going to Ecuador? Is he, retiring? I don't know. I don't know what's happening there with him. We need an upgrade to Ash Young as well, because he's obviously, been another long-serving player at the club. Obviously, one of the problematic players at Manchester United, and it was a bad mistake from us, giving him that new 1 year extension. Ash Young, should be gone, from Manchester United, but I think probably when his 1 year extension, by the time that expires, he'll be coming to an end of his playing career anywhere. So we do need an upgrade to Ash Young, and we need a cover up for Diego Dalot. And obviously, Diego Dalot is the upcoming future. So we've identified an interest in quite a few right backs, and obviously there's been talks about Wan-Bissaka from Crystal Palace, and I really, really like Wan-Bissaka. His defensive capabilities are very, very good. He's only been in Crystal Palace's senior squad about 15 months now as Wan-Bissaka, but he has done really, really well. He has become an integral part of their team, and he's predominantly a right back, and I think he's regarded as the best right back in the Premier League. Is Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, has so far spent the entirety of his career with Crystal Palace. He's British. He's only 21 years of age, and Solskjaer has emphasised an interest in quite a few British players, but I do really, really like Wan-Bissaka indeed. He's only got 3 years left. He's got 3 years left on his contract with Crystal Palace. I think he did say that, was it last week or earlier on this week, Man United submitted a bid for him of around £25 million. But obviously this figure is probably not going to be enough to convince Crystal Palace to let him go. I think the quoted fee is around 60 or £70 million that Crystal Palace want for Wan-Bissaka. So obviously, he's one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's prime targets. So yeah, we definitely need a right back without a shadow of a doubt. Talking about them defensive midfielders that we've been interested in. Obviously, we do know Declan Rice has been mentioned in the past, and I really, really like Declan Rice. He's well Premier League proven. Initially, learned his trade in the Premier League. 20 years of age. Got a hell of a lot of development in him, but I do believe he has exceeded expectation levels at Manchester United. At West Ham, really, really well. I think he's flourished fantastically well at West Ham. He has got a contract with them until 2024. I think he signed this new long-term contract. Was it back in December of last year? Probably based on his fantastic performances. He is primarily a holding midfielder. Can play as a centre back, but I think he's primarily a defensive midfielder. Is Declan Rice. He did say before he could be available from between 40 or 50 million pounds, Declan Rice. So he's definitely the upcoming future, and I really, really like him. Like I said, Thomas Partey, he's been mentioned, at least in the last week. I saw, there's been talks about him going on. It says, obviously, us and Arsenal have inquired, have inquired about his services. Don't really know much about the player. I know he's 25 years of age. Obviously, has spent the majority of his career with Atletico Madrid as Thomas Partey. But I think he's available for a reasonable figure, because I think his initial release clause is around £43 million in his contract with Atletico Madrid. So he's obviously, being spoken about. So there's a lot of centre defensive midfielders who've been interested in. Obviously, Idrissa Gueye has been on Manchester United's agenda, for quite some time. Looking at Idrissa Gueye, you can't, looking at him statistically, you can't argue with his stats. His stats are very, very impressive. Completed the most tackles across Europe. One of the most successful tacklers in the Premier League. And he is age 29 now, Idrissa Gueye, available for a reasonable figure. It did come out the other week saying that Everton wanted around £35 million for Idrissa Gueye. As you all know, defensive midfielder. He's actually same age as Ander Herrera. Comparing them, you can say Ander Herrera's had better the career, but I still really, really like Idrissa Gueye. Breaks up the play very, very well. And he's he's very, very energetic. He presses opponents very, very well. So I'd love him, to make the move to Manchester United. So obviously, he's been spoken about. But like I said, guys, about Paul Pogba and Romelu Lukaku, it could be now a possibility, that them two, could be staying at the football club. Obviously, like I said, based on the huge transfer fees that we've put on both of them. Obviously, like I said about Lukaku, he's moved from Manchester United has been looking very, very imminent indeed. And obviously, Inter Milan have expressed their interest in Romelu Lukaku. Obviously, Inter Milan have just appointed, Antonio Conte as their new manager. Well, they actually appointed him yesterday, because obviously on Thursday, Lucio Spalletti got sacked as Inter Milan manager. And obviously, Antonio Conte has identified, Romelu Lukaku as his number one target. But I think the stumbling block is the initial fee. Obviously, I think they're going to find it hard in Milan and Manchester United and that to come to an agreement on the fee, because reportedly now the quoted fee we want is around £80 million. So basically, we're looking to recoup the majority of the money that we did pay for him from Everton back in 2017, because we did pay £75 million for him. Obviously, there were add-ons including the deal of around £15 million. So it initially, risen the deal to £90 million. Lukaku has still got 3 years left on his contract, and he's on about £258,000 a week, I think, with Manchester United. But he did initially say, between Inter Milan and Romelu Lukaku and all that, he did say everything else had been agreed. It did come out in the press the other day saying that Inter Milan had agreed the personal terms with Romelu Lukaku. It also said Inter Milan agreed a 5-year deal with Romelu Lukaku worth around £37.5 million across 5 years, I think, annually, about £7.5 million. I think bonuses included. But reportedly now we want around £80 million. But it did come out the other week saying that Romelu Lukaku had been in Italy and he had been in negotiations with Inter Milan's representatives, of course, to get a deal finalised, because obviously, Lukaku is destined to make the move to Italy, and he wants to leave Manchester United, because he was talking about a while back, about his dream of playing in the Serie A. And, I think Manchester United have told him that he can leave the club, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has told Lukaku that he's surplus to requirements at Manchester United. Told him that he is surplus to requirements Manchester United. But I think now it's going to be hard for us to currently offload him, unless Inter Milan, of course, are willing to offer, if Inter Milan are willing to sacrifice one of their players as part of the deal. So initially at the beginning it said we wanted around £70 million, and then it said we wanted around £62 million. But now it's saying we want around £80 million for Romelu Lukaku. And I think this is a figure that, Inter Milan are going to be reluctant to meet, because I think from Inter Milan's perspective, they initially, value Lukaku at around would I say around 50 odd million pounds, according to what the Metro said. So so there's a possibility now that Lukaku could be staying, but I think we definitely need to cash in for Lukaku without a shadow of a doubt, because obviously he's surplus to requirements of the club. Obviously Rashford, his first choice ahead of him. He enjoyed a difficult time in his second season with the club, did Romelu Lukaku. Never really got the chance, of course. He did well in his first season, because he scored 27 goals in all competitions in his first season, but he never really replicated that form in his second season. And I think I've got strong reservations about him anyway. I know he's 26, Lukaku, and he has still got a hell of a lot of development in him, but I've got strong reservations about him when it comes to his first touch. He's a big game bottler, he's finishing, he hasn't got that endless potential, his footballing ability. So I've got so many concerns about Lukaku, but his ratio is still very, very good in the Premier League. He has scored a lot of goals in the Premier League as Lukaku, so he has done really, really well in the Premier League, and his pedigree is very, very good. But like I said, he's no longer good enough to represent Manchester United, and I think we need someone that can come in and score them goals for us without a shadow of a doubt, because obviously, like I said, the likes of Rashford and Martial aren't reliable enough at the moment to deliver us them goals that we do need, because obviously they haven't graduated to that level yet, and I do believe it's going to take Martial and Rashford a couple of years to emulate to that current level. What they should be currently on, but they are still both very, very young. But yeah, so I think we still need to get rid of Romelu Lukaku. So it did say Inter Milan, like you all know, we're willing to offer £30 million plus Ivan Perisic, to lure Romelu Lukaku away from Manchester United. But obviously, Manchester United are not willing to go along with this, because we know that Ivan Perisic is no longer a Manchester United target. Obviously, he was a long-term target under Jose Mourinho, but obviously the main reason why we didn't get Perisic under Jose Mourinho is because obviously we wasn't willing to meet that £48 million price tag that Inter Milan wanted for him. So I think if we're willing to let Lukaku go as part of any swap deal, I think this reported early on this week, or was it last week, we are demanding Inter Milan's Milan Skriniar as part of the deal. Now, Milan Skriniar has been a long-term target for Manchester United, and I think he'd address our defensive deficiencies, fantastically well, because he's a good central defender. He's very, very young. He's only 24 years of age, Milan Skriniar. I think he's played about 85 games there for Inter Milan. I think he's been at Inter Milan a couple of seasons. I think Inter Milan got him for around, was it £20 million from San Bandara a couple of years ago. He recently signed a new deal with Inter Milan, so he's under contract with Inter Milan until 2023. Obviously, Icardi's been spoken about as well, as you all know. But Icardi, but I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is keen on bringing Mario Icardi in. So looking possibility now that Lukaku could actually be remaining at the football club. With Pogba as well, look, he could be remaining at the football club, of course, even though he doesn't want to be at Manchester United, Paul Pogba. But like I said, we've put a huge transfer fee on him, and I think this could be the stumbling block, of Paul Pogba making his proposed move to Real Madrid. Like I said, Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player Paul Pogba is, even though he hasn't been the fundamental player, and he hasn't really exceeded expectation levels at Manchester United, as we all thought he would have done. So he hasn't really replicated the form that he did, in Turin with Juventus, because he did have 4 good years in Turin. Even though it came out in the press the other day saying that, it came out in the press the other day, saying that, Paul Pogba to Manchester United is practically done. This was coming out from a lot of Spanish outlets. It also came out from a Spanish journalist called Eduardo Inda. He said his move to Real Madrid is practically done. It did say, obviously, Paul Pogba agreed massive pay cuts. Obviously, it did say his salary is set to be reduced from 13 million to 10 million a year. So it did say his wages would drop by around £3 million. But obviously, initial fee hasn't come to an agreement. So obviously, nothing has been fully finalised. It did say an initial fee from between 137 and 150 million pounds was being negotiated. Well, initially Man United don't want to lose Pogba, but if we had to basically sell him, I think it did say want around 150 or 160 million pounds. But I think this is a figure, of course, that Real Madrid are reluctant to meet. And but yeah, Paul Pogba definitely wants to make the move to Real Madrid. Obviously, Zinedine Zidane is a big admirer of the player. Obviously, Zinedine Zidane's got a lot of players on his agenda this summer, of course. But obviously, his 2 main targets are obviously Chelsea and Hazard, and Manchester United's Paul Pogba. I think Eden Hazard to Real Madrid is set to be fully announced next week, of course. With Paul Pogba, though, there has still been, been reports saying that, his former club Juventus are interested in re-signing him. It did say Juventus, were willing to offer... Juventus are willing to offer, Paul Dybala and Alexandro as part of the deal to lure Paul Pogba away from Manchester United and all that. Juventus were linked to him last year as well, because obviously he was subjected to a lot of transfer speculation last year, was Paul Pogba, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho and all that. He was linked to Juventus, like I said, and he's also, Barcelona. Paul Pogba's still got 3 years left on his contract with Manchester United. It came out the other week saying that we were willing to offer him the captaincy in a bid to convince him to stay at the football club, but Paul Pogba could still reportedly remain at Manchester United, even though he doesn't want to be here. Maybe the couple of main factor reasons why he wants to leave the club, because maybe he wants to be playing amongst better players, maybe he wants to be up there challenging, being in Champions League football and winning trophies, and obviously Manchester United can't offer him this, but he may have to end up staying at the football club if they can't come to an agreement on the fee, Real Madrid and Manchester United. I think Zinedine Zidane has persuaded, basically, Paul Pogba to put a transfer request in. But like I said, he's our most expensive player, of course, because we paid £89 million for his services. So I don't know what's happening within him at the moment, but there is a possibility that he could be staying at Manchester United. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, had talks with Paul Pogba a while back, and he did say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still convinced that he will remain at the football club next season. And obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he watched some of this Manchester United team at this day and age, grow and develop. When he was managing the Manchester United reserve team, like I said, and obviously, of course, one of them was Paul Pogba. So he watched Paul Pogba grow and develop and all that, and they built a great relationship up. But obviously, recent reports did say that Paul Pogba and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's relationship is slowly fading. So yeah, it could be possible that Paul Pogba and Romelu Lukaku are going to remain at the football club. With De Gea, I don't think he's going to remain at the football club, though. Obviously, De Gea's been a long servant here. He's been here 8 years at Manchester United, as it did come out, was it last week, if I can remember rightly, saying that he has turned down a final contract offer from Manchester United as David De Gea. But I think he's been blatantly made clear he's not willing to sign a new contract over the club. Obviously, we do know PSG have attracted their interest in him. We do know that Real Madrid been long admirers of David De Gea. But like I said, we wouldn't want to lose David De Gea because he's potentially the best goalkeeper in the world. But Man United, at least in the last year and a half, have been in negotiations to try and to try to convince him to sign a new contract, but obviously he hasn't signed a new contract. I think De Gea is demanding that he wants around £350,000 a week, £350,000 a week, and obviously this is where I'm basically not willing to meet his wage demands, and this is obviously why he hasn't signed a new contract. But yeah, we'd rather cash in for De Gea this summer than rather letting go on a free transfer next year, because that would be a calamity. So I think it did say before that PSG willing to offer him around £60 million. I think it also said that they were initially intending on getting him on a free transfer next year, so that could obviously tempt them to offer him a bigger salary, but we can't let David De Gea go on a free transfer. But like I said, he has been a good servant to the club. He's been here 8 years. He's been here since 2011, so basically he's been here since the Alex Ferguson era. He's made over 300 appearances for us in all competitions. He's won everything either domestically. He's won the Club's Player of the Year 4 times out of the last 6 years as David De Gea. But we do know we could get around £60 million for De Gea, maybe £70 million, but we know at full value for a goalkeeper he's worth around £100 million, but obviously he's only got a year left on his deal, so we're not going to get £100 million for David De Gea. But yeah, how old's David De Gea now? He's 28 years of age. So yeah, and he hasn't really done much on at Manchester United. I know he made some costly mistakes towards the back end of last season, but I think that was mainly something to do with the contractual situation. But I don't think it's now in our plans to actually go and buy a goalkeeper to replace David De Gea, because I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is willing to promote Sergio Romero as our number one goalkeeper. I don't know if he's reliable enough yet to become our number one goalkeeper. Romero, Dean Henderson, I think he needs a bit more experience. Does Dean Henderson, if I'm going to be honest with you, because he's only young. He needs a bit more experience, because he has been on loan with Sheffield United, so maybe I would consider loaning him out again for the season to give him a bit more experience. Obviously we've got the likes of Lee Grant and all that, but yeah, I think, when De Gea leaves, which is looking very likely, I think we definitely need to buy a goalkeeper to replace him. So there has been quite a few names mentioned, obviously, Jan Blanc got mentioned about 5 weeks ago. Jordan Pickford's been spoken about in the past. Obviously, that Ajax goalkeeper, Andrea Onana, got mentioned a week or two ago as well, saying reportedly Manchester United had around a £35 million bid turned down for him. He's had 3 years worth of experience as Ajax is starting goalkeeper, so he has got the experience. But yeah, quite a few goalkeepers names mentioned who could replace David De Gea. And also looking like that Sanchez is going to be leaving the club, which is very, very good news. Obviously, it's going to be hard. Well, we can't get rid of him permanently, obviously, based on his substantial wages. Obviously, I haven't heard much about it lately about Sanchez, but he came out a couple of weeks ago saying that Sanchez's agent was in Italy, and it did say, Juventus and Inter Milan had been in negotiations with his agent, because obviously they're the two teams that have expressed their interest in Sanchez. But he has been so inconsistent for Manchester United, being here 16 months and all that, so he is one of the problematic players. Obviously doesn't have a future at the football club anyway, age 30, obviously, lost that yard of pace. Sanchez, there has been, talks saying that he's urged, Arsenal have been urged to go and re-sign Alexis Sanchez, because he did have 4 good years out with Arsenal, but if you ask the majority of Arsenal fans would they take him back, obviously, the majority of them would say no. Of taking Alexis Sanchez back, but he's on about 400 grand a week, potentially rising up to 500 grand a week, based on image rights and based on the bonuses and that. He's on about £500,000 a week, is Alexis Sanchez, and his wages are having a really, really bad effect on the football club. But yeah, we've got to get rid of him. And I think Darmian and Rojo on the way out as well. Like I said, at an estimate, I guess we can get around 25 or 30 million pounds for Matty or Darmian and Marcus Rojo. But yeah, so yeah, they're definitely no need to go. I think they're the two favourable. Well, they're two of the favourable players that are set to leave Manchester United this summer, which is very, very good news. And yeah, the main part of this video was to give you an update about Matthias de Ligt and Bruno Fernandes, and obviously all the other news. So good news is coming out about Matthias de Ligt. He's considering making the move to Manchester United. He's set to tell Manchester United about it. He's set to tell Manchester United his decision over the transfer in the next day or two, of course. So that is very, very good news. The Bruno Fernandes situation, we want to finalise a deal for Bruno Fernandes before the end of next week, of course. So we could be getting a deal over the line for Bruno Fernandes. That is very, very good news indeed. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribing as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.